artificial intelligence is no longer a tool for sitting at the edges of investment strategy. And so the question now is, how is AI going to influence capital responsibly, transparently, effectively, and how is it going to be best used? So, to take this conversation forward, please join me in welcoming to the stage Shekhar Natarajan, the founder and CEO of Orchestro.AI, Dr. Praveen Gupta, professor and chairperson at Manipal Business School, and your moderator, Viwe, Kunene, presenter at Forbes Middle East.
Right, a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you all so much for joining us for this fantastic discussion. Our next discussion looks at how AI and advanced analytics are changing the way investment decisions are made, shifting from hindsight to foresight. In other words, not just analyzing past performance, but predicting and shaping future allocation strategies. I'm joined by two fantastic experts, bringing both industry and academic perspective. Shekhar and Dr. Praveen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And welcome. Right, let's dive in. Dr. Praveen, I'll start with you. As AI shifts from focus to historical insight to forward-looking foresight, how should asset managers and advisors rethink their decision-making frameworks?
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here, and thank you very much for the question. Let's take a step back and think what AI is doing for us currently, especially in the field of asset management. You can think of AI as somebody who's very, very smart, an analyst who works for you, who does the reports very well, who does whatever you give him for 1 week in 1 hour and prepares the reports wonderfully. But I think where AI currently is not there is looking too much far into the future. So if you are thinking of asking the AI, where should you invest, I think take a step back, and check what AI is actually going to do to you. So basically, at this point in time, all the models of AI which are out there, they have a lot of what we call a confirmation bias. So if you ask questions, it is very eager to please you in terms of the information which you give it to AI models, and they are think of AI as an employee which we all have, who is always saying yes, sir. So I think the first thing which, if you are using AI for any of the insights, what you should do is challenge it. And that is where I think there are things like, if you have heard the word anti-sycophancy prompt. So basically, think of AI as a sycophant who is always willing to please you, but you challenge it by asking questions which are tough. And there are ways to do that, and I'm sure all of you have followed that. But basically, if you're using AI for foresights, be a little bit careful about what it's saying, because most of the time it will say what you want to hear. And that's why you have to be extremely careful about asking the right questions. Ask it to challenge you. Ask it to give the contrarian view. It might give you 10 things, 8 of which you already know. But those 2 things which it tells you when you ask it to confront you, those 2 things will be the value add for you in building better foresights.
Right, and now building on that, talk to us about what skills, governance models, and safeguards are essential to ensure AI is used ethically, transparently, and responsibly.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I think the governance is extremely important because ultimately it is relying on certain set of data and it is doing some analysis in the background. The big problem which we have currently with AI is the output is a black box. So it's not a clearly set of written formulas which dictate its output. It basically it does some analysis in the background and it gives you the answers. Now, you as fund managers, you as asset allocators have responsibility to your investors. If you are purely relying on AI, ultimately you will have to have some sort of way of telling your investors, God forbid if they lose money, about why they lost money. You can't sort of blame it on the AI, and hence the governance structures are extremely important. What I have found useful doing this academic analysis myself is asking the similar sort of questions to multiple AIs and sometimes put one model against the other. Now, it is not foolproof, and hence, again, caution is required. But at least it is one step better than just asking one AI and using that for building some sort of structures around it. So my advice would be use it, but use it cautiously. It hallucinates a lot. It is getting better, but it still gives you wrong answers sometimes. So better heed to it, but check.
Right. Thank you for your insights, Dr. Praveen. Shekhar, I'll move on to you now. In practical terms, how does predictive AI actually move investors from reacting to data towards making foresight-driven allocation decisions?
Well, I think when I had a famous story when I went to school, okay? There was this amazing industrial engineering company, and they were into mining. And every 2 years, the CEO would get fired. It's an interesting story, by the way. The reason why the CEO would get fired is, as soon as basically like the demand started going up, you start basically over-investing. So they were at overcapacity, and the demand comes down. So you're caught with capacity, and then like you're unprofitable. And then when you get to the bottom, you don't have enough, and you're scrambling, so you're buying at a higher rate. So this kept happening to this company over and over, till someone came and said, let me recognize the pattern. And the guy did something very simple. He never invested when the market was going up. He always invested when the market was going down. So therein lies like pattern recognition. But if you step back and think about what AI is capable of doing, AI is capable of doing a lot of gibberish, but is not able to instill trust. So I don't think the investor should really think about investing today based on that gibberish. You see a lot of circular investments going on, like, OpenAI is investing in like NVIDIA. NVIDIA is investing in a company which actually then uses OpenAI, and then Microsoft is basically investing in. So there's a lot of circular investment strategy going on, which is going to be a little bit of a problem. So I would wait till the dust settles, because though the intelligence game is actually largely being run by these large companies, the trust game hasn't begun yet. And once the trust game begins, is when the investors have to start noticing what to invest in.
I'd like to challenge you there.
Yeah.
Can investors trust AI?
Not today. Let's do a simple exercise. Let's go ask who the best athlete is of Grok. What is it going to say? Elon Musk. Let's ask Grok again, like if I had like 10 people to kill and to save Elon Musk, what would you do? Kill 10, save Elon Musk. Ask the same question again. 1,000 and Elon Musk. Elon Musk. So the system largely is controlled by people who want to control it. There's power, dominance, and control. So I don't think that is trustable. The second question is this jailbreaking scenario. I'm an avid music listener. I never had the opportunity. I grew up in slums. I never had the opportunity to do anything in my life as a hobby. All we did was like run to school, come back, because that was like a temple, okay? So now I started getting into like making my own music, because there are so many beautiful tools. And I said, like let me play a simple game. Let me like take some of the compositions that I like, and let me actually create my own music. And whenever I try to do that, there's a copyright violation kind of thing which pops up saying, oh, this is copyrighted, please don't use it. I have to do one simple thing. I take the entire script and put it in like ChatGPT and say, add invisible text, and take it back into the same tool and recompose it. It'll compose fine. So jailbreaking is easy in this kind of scenario. And it hallucinates the hell out of everything you ask. So, and companies don't work on hallucinations. Companies work on consequential decisions. And you cannot make a consequential decision using a hallucinating system, period.
Right.
As simple as that.
Right, and now many AI models optimize outcomes, but they don't always explain how they arrive there. Talk to us about the importance of explainability in investment decision-making and what risks emerge when capital is guided by systems investors don't fully understand.
Okay, I'm a storyteller. You probably figured that out.
Right.
So let me tell you a story. Again, I grew up with nothing, slums, and in 2005, I got a call from my mom, January, and she said, my dad is in a vegetative state, and I just started working for Coke. I graduated in 2003. I couldn't find a job for a year. I was so lousy. And then finally, I got a break at Coke. I started working. I had like $50,000. And the doctors say, welcome, Shekhar, welcome to, India. Oh, you are the guy from US. So let me milk you. And so I spent all the $50,000 in 15 days trying to treat my father, who was about to die. And then I ran out of money. I moved him to a government hospital because he was a government employee. And in a government hospital, beds are very important. They don't care about the patient. So every day, the doctor would come and ask me, when are you unplugging your father, by the way? And for 13 days, I couldn't figure it out. 13 days. And then I finally did what no son has to do, unplug the father. Okay? So, but the current AI systems, given the same conditions, would decide if someone has to live in 0.3 seconds. That's the consequence. Grok is undressing kids. And all that Elon Musk and others can say is, oops, I'm so sorry. ChatGPT wrote a suicide note. And all they could say is, we're going to put parental guidance. Parental guidance? My son knows the pattern of how to unlock my phone. 5-year-old. 5-year-old. So that problem needs to be solved first. We need to move into a system that actually understands what not to optimize. We are so fascinated by the can we model. We should be fascinated by should we model. Should we do this in the first place? Should we take this decision? Is it worth optimizing? Because dignity is lost somewhere if you over-optimize. Asking a driver to go fast and asking them to pee in a bottle is not dignity. It's not productivity. It's ripping someone's soul. And that's where we don't understand all of these things. So that's the most critical thing we got to think about as a system. So are we trying to do the right thing? And are we optimizing for the right thing? The answer is never what to optimize. The question is what not to optimize. And we haven't gotten that yet as a society.
All right, thank you so much for sharing those insights. And a very touching story you have there, Shekhar. Now, let me open this to the both of you. As AI becomes embedded into asset allocation and management, what ultimately defines success? Is it data? Is it better models? Is it human interpretation of machine-driven insights? What is it?
Yeah, I think first time we hear this question, it feels like a trick question because whenever there are multiple choices, answer normally is all of the above.
True.
Yeah, so is it data, is it models, is it human insight? Let's look at it one by one. So data, basically all the models are trained on a similar set of data. So think about data as, if you go and write a program as a programmer, you write a program based on whatever is available to you, and that program works. So data is just like the raw feed which goes in, and literally everybody will normally have access to the same data. Let's come back to models. Again, models, there are a few models out there, unless you are a Jane Street or a Citadel who can afford to have a model exclusively for yourself. All of you will have largely access to the same model. So again, model would largely not be a big differentiator when it comes to investment strategies. So the data is largely similar, model is largely similar. So then what does it boil down to? I think it does boil down to the last point, which is human insights. So, the question earlier asked was, can we trust AI? I think we can trust AI for certain things. We can trust AI to do the menial work, the analysis. The job of data analyst, frankly, for me, is not going to exist. The AI does wonderful analysis of past data. Ask it the right questions, it will give you the right answers. It's very clear in terms of doing the analysis and what it is right now. It is very good in that, and it is getting even better. So I think we can trust it to do that. But I agree that we can't trust it to make forward-looking decisions. So which asset to buy? What is the future insight? It's very much like if you have a good analyst, you will not make him a portfolio manager. Because portfolio manager, at the end of the day, is your insight, your wisdom, your knowledge of last 20 years in the finance industry, which gives you that foresight where to invest. And just because one AI strategy works at one given point in time, it can be attributed to lots of things. It could be luck, it could be various other things. So just like a investment manager, you don't trust AI blindly to do asset allocation for you, to do portfolio management for you. You use it when it is useful to do the analysis, to do the research. It is very good at scraping data from internet. So if you want to do it yourself, it takes a lot of time. If you use AI, it can do it like quickly, very fast, very efficient. Use it. Please use it. But do not, my advice, do not use it to make asset allocation decision. That is where your wisdom, your human intellect, your knowledge will come into play.
All right, thank you, Dr. Praveen. Shekhar, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think technology is always in service of humanity, not the other way around. So the current construct is, how do we make humans like replaceable? Like efficiency, profitability is the focus. And I think like the mindset needs to shift about enhancing people's lives. And that's where technology is best suited. Like something as consequential of artificial intelligence, right, needs to be used for those kinds of things. Like look at what is happening with protein science. You could literally like do something what used to take many, many years in like minutes, if not months, right? So, and there were like 2 Turkish kids with bachelor's degree who wrote dissertation papers far better, far superior than doctorates would. That's the power of technology. And it can solve a lot of beautiful things. Disease, poverty, education, access. And basically just bringing plurality into the society. And we're not using it for any of those purposes. We're building like Sonnet, we are building it like for like making movies. Like, come on, like. So we should be using it for better purposes, and we should focus the energy in the right things. So I'm not anti-technology, I'm just like for the right use of technology for the right problems.
Right. Now, it's clear that the future of asset management isn't just about technology. It's about the balance between intelligence, transparency, and human judgment. And with that, we conclude our discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us today for this. And thank you, Dr. Praveen and Shekhar.
Thank you very much.